Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. It has been a while. Missed you guys, and it is March, which is one of my favorite months in all of sports. We have March Madness hitting. Boy, has it been March Madness for me. But I wanted to share my picks with you guys. I have not done my brackets yet. It is one of my favorite things to do each and every year. And so I figured I would go through this out loud with you guys and we can have some fun together. Now back to why I haven't been doing videos. It has been a crazy month for me family-wise, so I apologize for not getting a ton of content out. Just know my time and energy was going to something extremely important. But now we're back, and I'm just going to try to run through my picks really quick, give you guys some insight as to who I think has an opportunity to go far. I wouldn't consider myself an expert by any means, men's college basketball, but I have watched a ton of games. I've been a loyal Duke Blue Devil fan. As you can see here, since I was like 7 or 8. So I have some knowledge about the game, and I just wanted to walk through this with you guys, see what you guys thought about my picks. Also would love to hear about yours, so share yours down below. I do mine maybe different than most people. So for my brackets, I just like to go through sections. So I'll pick the entire East, pick the entire West, Midwest, and then South. And then I usually go to I guess the entirety isn't right. I go to the Elite 8 or so. Then when I get there, I spend a little bit more time, but not much, and we'll get a national champion. Would love to hear about your guys' thoughts on this year's tournament. I think it is going to be absolutely bonkers. There are a couple of teams that I would say distance themselves and would seem like that top tier, but then, those teams for me were teams like Purdue, Houston, and both of those teams lost in their conference tournaments. North Carolina obviously looks great as a 1 seed, but it's going to be really hard for me to pick them. I'm sure you can understand why. And who's the other 1 seed, for goodness sake? Of course, UConn, the best team in the country. I would say probably half of the brackets that are picked are going to be with the Huskies as the champions. So just to be a little different, I might not pick them. I honestly don't know. We're going to figure it out. But let's kick it off in the East. In that 116 game with the Huskies, I'm going to take them over Stetson 100 times out of 100. FAU and Northwestern is an interesting game. Florida Atlantic, obviously that great run last year. UConn honestly got a really tough quadrant here. There are some excellent teams that went far last year, Auburn as well. So it's going to be tough for the Huskies to get back and repeat as national champions. In that 8-9 game, I'm going to go with Florida Atlantic, although Northwestern could easily come out on top and give them a run for their money. San Diego State, for me, this is one of maybe the more underseeded or underrated teams. Jaden Ledee is an absolute beast in the paint. He is going to be very hard for 75-80% of the teams to stop in this tournament. He is a difference maker. He's averaging over 21 points a game. I love San Diego State. Auburn and Yale, not even close for me. I think Steve Pearl's got his team playing some of the best basketball in the country. Auburn is going to roll. BYU Ducanese. BYU shoots the 3 better than just about, I think, anyone actually in the nation. So if they get hot, they can easily make a run. I like them in round 1 for sure. Illinois looks really good in their Big Ten run. Honestly, don't know a ton about that team, but they're going to have no problem with Morehead State. Washington State and Drake is the 7-10. It's a very interesting matchup. Drake, I think, won 28 games this season. And Washington State making a run for the first time in what seems like forever. But I honestly, that might be my first upset pick going against the hometown team where I live here. I've taken Drake over Washington State. Iowa State is an excellent 2. They could have easily been a 1. I don't think they have trouble with South Dakota State in that 2-15 matchup. So now we're in the round of 32 in the East. UConn over FAU. That Cinderella story ends early this year, I think. San Diego State and Auburn. That game could be a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 matchup, honestly, with how good I think both of those teams are. I told you how much I love the Aztecs, but I think that Auburn might be a team of destiny this year. I love them, and I think they pull off that 4-5 victory. BYU, Illinois, man, I hate to go chalk so much. Honestly, BYU, though, like I said, if they get hot from 3, they can go a long way. I think they do against the Fighting Illini, and they get the upset. Iowa State rolls Drake. Sorry, but the Cyclones have everything that you need to make a deep run. They just manhandled Houston in the conference championship. Both Keyshawn Gilbert, Lipsy, of course. Excellent guards that love to share the ball. Both have over 4 assists a game. Iowa State is going to be hard to stop. So in the Sweet 16 now, we have the 1 seed UConn against the 4 seed Auburn Tigers. And this could go either way. This, I think, is closer. This game would be closer to a coin flip than most people would want to admit. For whatever reason, I'm feeling Auburn. We're going to go with them to upset the Huskies in the Sweet 16. Is that the Elite 8? They make this weird. That's the Sweet 16. BYU, Iowa State in the other matchup. I'm going to take the Cyclones, which would be an awesome matchup here. Auburn and Iowa State in the Elite 8 for a chance at the Final Four. That would be an excellent one. And if that is what ends up happening, I am taking Auburn in the Final Four. Much to the surprise of myself. Let's go to the West now before we move forward, obviously. We'll start with the North Carolina Tar Heels. They will win whoever they play in the play-in game. I think, unfortunately, North Carolina has all the pieces. Armando Bacot is a bully, but he is good at what he does. They have the best guard in the nation in RJ Davis. North Carolina rolls. Michigan State is someone you never want to face in March. Izzo always has his guys ready. 9-8 upset, easy for the Spartans. St. Mary's Gales against Grand Canyon. I've heard a lot about this Grand Canyon team. I haven't seen them play. I do know a little bit about St. Mary's, one of the biggest rivals here in Spokane with not only the Zags, but also Washington State. St. Mary's is a good team, but Tyan Grant Foster for Grand Canyon, the Antelopes, whichever one. Cantaloupes are fruits, it's definitely not them. But TGF is a baller, and I think that he can help get it done, and I pick Grand Canyon over St. Mary's. Alabama and Charleston. Bama is an excellent team. They can score with anybody, and so I'll take them here over Charleston. Clemson and New Mexico is probably a closer 6-11 than most. The Lobos rebound and get dirty inside better than almost any team in the nation. They shoot more twos than any team in the nation, which you think wouldn't be a recipe for success. But I've seen Clemson play. I don't know if they're going to be physical enough for the Lobos, and I'm going to take New Mexico with the upset. Baylor rolls Colgate, sorry. Baylor is an excellent squad. They have everything. Dayton, Nevada might be tight. I don't know a ton about either of these teams, if I'm being honest. I'm going to go chalk Dayton on that one. And the last pick before we move to the round of 32, Arizona is a scary squad. I watched them own my Blue Devils early in the year. That game looked closer than it was. Arizona is going to be a tough out. North Carolina, Michigan State is an excellent round of 32 game. Two storied schools, but North Carolina, like I said, has it all, and I expect a deep run, unfortunately, from them. Alabama and Grand Canyon. I'd love to pick Grand Canyon here. And maybe it's one of those games where Alabama just isn't on because they don't play a ton of defense. And so if Alabama can't knock down shots, they could struggle. Mark Sears, Aaron Estrada. For whatever reason, I'm just feeling Grand Canyon all of a sudden. How have they done over their last couple games? They've won 6 of 7. We're going to go with Grand Canyon over Alabama. Why not? New Mexico and Baylor. I mean, New Mexico might keep it close for a while, but I believe in Baylor. Overall, I think they're an excellent squad, just as much as I believe in Arizona. I think both of those teams are moving on. So into the Sweet 16. Grand Canyon is a great story to this point, but North Carolina is going to demolish them. And as awesome as it would be to see Baylor again make a deeper run, I think Arizona and North Carolina are teams of destiny that are headed for each other in the Elite Eight with a chance of the Final Four. It's going to be the love game after switching from the Tar Heels to Arizona. To be able to meet up with a chance for a Final Four on the line, I think would be awesome. So I think Caleb Love returning to face the Tar Heels in the the Elite Eight, excuse me. I want to pick Arizona. I really do, because I hate UNC, but they're just the better team. And I think that the Tar Heels are going to move on to face Auburn in the Final Four. All right, to the South. Excuse me if I can talk some more now. We're starting with Houston and Longwood. Look, Houston looked unstoppable for much of the year. Now, I think that a lot of people, and rightfully so, are going to knock them for what happened in the conference championship game. They just got absolutely obliterated. And some people might say there's a roadmap, but look, not a lot of people can do what Iowa State does. They should have maybe been a 1 seed, and they are one of the best teams in the nation. So Houston is not going to struggle, although I do understand some hesitancy after how they looked just last game. Nebraska, Texas A&M. Whoever wins this game, Houston ain't going to want none of them. But I think that Texas A&M is the overall more physical squad, and so I give them the edge. Wisconsin and James Madison. Once again, one of those 12-5 matchups I'm hearing a lot about with JMU. I don't buy it. I think Wisconsin is good enough to win and get past them. Duke, Vermont. Look, I don't know a lot about the Catamounts. I know enough about Duke to know that they are a good, not great team this year. Sorry, Blue Devil fans. I've watched almost every game, and Kyle Filipowski just did not become that guy. And while Jared McCain played some excellent ball for us and really helped elevate this squad, unless Flip can go absolutely ape during the tournament, I really don't see Duke making it past the Sweet 16. They'll get past Vermont, but they are not going to make a national title run this season. Texas Tech and NC State. I mean, NC State with that awesome run, they creamed Duke. They beat North Carolina. Can they keep that momentum? I don't know. I think I usually go ACC hard and try to represent, but Texas Tech's an excellent school. They've been there, they've done that, and I like them over NC State. Kentucky can be dangerous, but they can also absolutely disappear. It's all about their defense. They're going to put up points regardless, but Oakland doesn't stand a chance, let's be honest there. Florida, that loss of their big man is going to loom large, but not yet. Colorado, if they're able to get past Boise State, which they should be able to, I can't believe they're one of the last 4 teams in, but I think Colorado might give Florida a run for their money, but I'll still take the Gators. And then I don't know what the heck's going on with Tyler Kolek, but Marquette is going to get past Western Kentucky. Back to the top of the bracket in the round of 32, Houston and Texas A&M. Love the Cougs. Still think they get past Texas A&M, but that will be a tough game. Wisconsin and Duke. Look, this is a rematch of national championship game. The last one I remember for the mighty Devils in their victory. And I think Duke's going to get past Wisconsin here. Texas Tech, Kentucky. Something about Texas Tech makes me want to pick them. But I don't know, man. Kentucky and Coach Cal, they always seem to turn it on when the lights are brightest. And I think that's what they'll do. Marquette gets past Florida. Now to the Sweet 16. Houston and Duke. I would love to pick the Blue Devils. I really would. And I honestly think that Duke's got a chance because of how they match up, because of their shooting abilities. Duke obviously doesn't have the size that Houston does, or the rebound ability, if we're being totally honest. But with Mark Mitchell inside, if Flip can play big, and then Ryan Young can give us some solid minutes, I think Duke would have a chance. But let's be honest, Houston has been that dog the entire season. Even if that slip up in the conference championship gives me pause, I'm taking Houston over the Devils. Kentucky, Marquette. I'm not going to go chalk here. Marquette has too many question marks with this situation. Multiple injuries and players out. Even if they're back, are they able to gel? I think Kentucky gets hot and they match up with Houston. All right, last pick here. Houston, Kentucky, with a chance for a Final Four on the line. That would be a very interesting matchup. Man, that is a tough one to pick. LJ Cryer, Jamal Shed against Antonio Reeves and Rob Dillingham. I think Houston's able to right the ship. They have all the pieces. And honestly, if it wasn't for that fall up in the conference championship, I think a lot of people would chalk them to the Final Four anyway. So I'm going to go Houston over Kentucky. And Houston is my third team in the Final Four. We're in the last bracket in the Midwest. Sorry, Duke fans, by the way. I had to do it. I had to be honest. I love the team. I like the team. I don't love the team this year. All right, Midwest, we are in the final one before we pick our Final Fours. Purdue against whoever wins the NC State Grambling game. Don't matter. Purdue, TCU, Utah State. I think Utah State, not criminally, but certainly underrated. They could have been a 6 for sure. Utah State over TCU. The Zags and McNeese. Look, the Zags have the experience, but they don't have the team this year that they've had in the past. Certainly didn't matter because they got the 5. But I think McNeese is able to do it to them. Once again, going against the home crowd here in Spokane. Kansas and Samford. I know Kansas has injuries. I've heard Samford is a Cinderella story to watch. I'm not buying it. I'm taking Kansas. South Carolina is an excellent squad, but Oregon knows how to win when it matters, and they don't lose in the round of 64. I think 7-0 is their coach in the round of 64, and I think they've made it to the Sweet 16 5 of 7 times. I don't go against history. I'll go against the Gamecocks. Ducks win. Creighton, Akron. Creighton is an excellent, excellent team. They have some really big wins this year, and they played one of the toughest conferences in the nation. I love everything they do top to bottom, and I think Creighton gets by Akron without much issue. Texas against Virginia or Colorado State won't matter. Longhorns roll. And then Tennessee is going to smash the Peacocks. St. Peter's with that great run. Recently, not so much this year. Into the round of 32, Purdue gets by Utah State and McNeese over Kansas. This is where we see the Kansas upset that everyone's been talking about. Why are we going with McNeese? Because why not go with the Cowboys? I am going to ride them for at least one more round. Oregon, Creighton. This is where it gets interesting, and I will pick against history in Oregon. I like everything Creighton brings to the table. They have excellent color schemes, and they will move on. Tennessee gets by Texas. They could have been a 1 seed had they not faltered in the conference tournament. They have all of the pieces. So we're in the Sweet 16. I haven't picked anything close to an upset yet. And we know what Purdue's weakness is, ladies and gentlemen. It is the double-digit seed. They cannot seem to get by them. And McNeese is going to pull the upset. I'll take them over Purdue. The bugaboo continues for the Boilermakers. Creighton and Tennessee, that 3-2 matchup. Look, to give McNeese a chance, it probably has to be Creighton. Tennessee is far too physical. But I think that Creighton gets hot here, and I think that they're able to overcome the Volunteers. I have McNeese and Creighton in my Elite 8. To the Final Four we go. McNeese, the story was awesome. Creighton is making it to the Final Four. Before we take our Final Four picks, the run was great for the Cowboys, but the Blue Jays are my surprise pick getting out of the Midwest. I don't believe in the Boilermakers. I don't know if they believe in themselves, and I would love for them to prove me wrong. Into my Final Four, April 6th in Glendale, Arizona. I have Auburn against North Carolina. Man, I want to pick against the Tar Heels. It would kill me to see them in a national championship. I think they are the better team, but god damn it, Auburn is a team of destiny, and they will take out the Tar Heels and they will get themselves into a national championship game. It won't be pretty, but it will happen. In the other side, Houston, Creighton, and honestly, this might be the only way that Houston makes it to the national championship because, like I said, I don't love them because of what we saw Iowa State do to them. But Creighton ain't Iowa State, and Houston will prevail. It'll be Houston and Auburn on April 8th for all of the marbles. This would be a fascinating matchup. We have the size, the rebounding ability from Houston. We have Auburn with one of the greatest combinations of guard play in the league, really. They are fast, they are furious, and they play excellent defense that nobody wants a part of. I think this would be a rock fest, and as much as I am surprised by it, I'm taking Auburn as the national champion. And like I said, I didn't know who I was picking coming into this matchup, and I'm very surprised that I ended on Auburn. But the way that my bracket fell, I couldn't take North Carolina, although I think they're probably a better team. Tigers only have to be better one night. And then Houston, they come up just short. Tiebreaker, how many total points will be scored in the championship game? Rockfest, 50 to 45 maybe. So we're going to go with 95 total points. And we are going to submit this bracket. Thank you guys so much for sticking along with me. Hope this was enjoyable to you. Good luck to you on your brackets. Good luck to your teams in the tournament. Like I said, Blue Devils, they probably aren't going to do what I want them to, but there's always a chance, and we will see what happens. The great thing about March and the madness of the tournament is that anyone can beat anyone on any given night, and any bracket can look insane until it's not. This is Abraham Opat signing off. Thank you guys so much for joining me for the video. I'll be back soon with some more content. Have an excellent rest of your week. Enjoy the games, and I'll see you guys